Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
and this is part 2 of our discussion for episode 4 of Vice Versa. We have already watched the part 3 of episode 4 of Vice Versa.
We have.
How are you feeling?
Well, first off, I have to say, I'm not sure if I'm a fan or not of this new thing that YouTube is doing. So, if you're watching YouTube on a television, at least in Australia, they've done this new, screensaver function. And so, I let it go to part 4 of 4, in preparation for when we watch the next bit, and you should see what is on my screensaver at the moment. It is a massive spoiler for what's about to come.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm slightly distracted because my TV is really big. It's like a 70-inch TV. And I'm sitting fairly close to it. I'm maybe 1.5 meters. I'm way too close for how big the TV is. And it's there. It's right there. And it's doing this weird thing where it's kind of zooming in slowly. And I'm so not only is it in my face, this is happening, but it's this is getting closer. This will be your reality in a few minutes. Anyway, so if we ignore that, if we ignore that, we go back to episode 3 of 4, part 3 of 4, and where we last left off, we had the bouquet toss, and that's where it picks up again. We get to basically see the bouquet toss again, so we got to see Tale do his, oh no, and he actually says, shit. Which I didn't notice the first time. He's literally having an oh shit moment when he sees that bouquet flying in his direction. And it's so funny because I paid a little bit more attention, I guess, in this, or maybe they focused a little bit more on Poon's face and everything, but he kind of has an oh shit moment too when he catches it. He's surprised he caught it. It wasn't a conscious decision that he made to catch the bouquet, and he's standing there staring at it how did this happen?
Isn't it kind of symbolic though of how he acts? He's not entirely conscious of what he's doing.
Yeah, well, it's weird because he's just it was just really funny. His facial expression in that scene is really funny. I'm sure it's not meant to be, but I found it very amusing.
And then they look at each other and then they know it's we're okay. We got through this.
Yeah, it's crisis averted. You didn't catch it. You're safe. I saved you.
And then Boone is invited on stage, and I love the melody that plays in the background of the scene. I love it. It reminds me of another scene that happens later in the series, and that moment is really beautiful. And it's here, and it's I love it. The MC asks him the classic question, "Are you taken?" And Poon says no, and Tale watches him I don't know. It's an interesting expression on his face. Not sure what.
It's so funny because in this scene, I totally misinterpreted what was going on in this scene. Because my notes are hilarious. I really can't use any of them because I had an impression, and then I was the next note is oh, I was wrong. And then I have an impression, and then the next note is well, I didn't see that coming.
What was it?
Okay, so in this moment, as you said, Poon is being questioned essentially about, are you dating anybody, or are you taken, as you said, and he says no. And then the guy says something oh, he's available, and yet Tale's facial expression during this scene is very interesting. So initially, I was is he getting annoyed, or is he wanting to see what he says? He's kind of there's a lot of intense staring and stuff going on. And the guy says that are you hitting on anyone at the moment, which I have to say is a really interesting phrase to me, because here we say dating or seeing someone or interested in someone. It's I feel like it's a uniquely Thai thing, that hitting on someone. Can I hit on you? Is just an interesting phrase to me. And so, and he says that he is, and that this person is being mean to him, and and then we have Tale like leave, and I'm like, oh, is he annoyed that he is, once again teasing? But then when Pun comes outside, and his like first question is basically like, who's this person who's being mean or whatever, and it's like, hang on, baby, are you jealous? I'm like, wait. And then I went back and I thought about that scene, and I was like, he was getting jealous. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, because that puts a different layer on it, we already know that he's starting to like be more aware of his, let's say, love surroundings, like more aware of what's going on and stuff. And then of course we have Poon, who's basically gives him the flowers, and it's funny because in the last
But I want to go back.
Oh, you do?
I want to go back. Yeah. Because I love the moment. I don't really see that as him being jealous. Maybe he's alternating between, because what I see on his face is disbelief. So I think he's alternating between this, oh my God, is this really happening to me? And what if it's not about me? And
I think that happens after. I think that happens after he gives him the bouquet. I think before he was just like, what is he doing? And then he's started to get, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he was getting jealous. And then when he realized something about him, then he's doing the, is this really happening to me thing.
So then we have the, hitting or anyone at the moment. And I love the music in this moment. I love the way it feels like it unravels. The choir starts singing, and there are these low notes, and it feels like it's a moment of unveiling some absolute truth. Is he hitting on someone or not? Before Spoon answers, gives his question, and he says, I am hitting on someone, but he's playing hard to get. And then the MC
I will confess, I did not notice the music at all in this scene.
It was very friendly. It enriched the moment for me. I loved it.
Or maybe it's because you've seen it so many times. I don't know, but yeah, no. Although you tend to notice these things on the first watch as well, but I will confess, I did not. I have nothing to comment on the music because I did not notice any of it. So please continue.
You should go back and rewatch this moment and pay attention to the music, because it makes it even more beautiful. It makes it feel like it's a very, very important moment. Like something is shifting, like something heavy is being shifted. This is how it feels. And so then he asks, well, who is this person? Why being mean to someone that handsome? And Poon asks in some kind of like a playful manner, yes, so mean. And for me, Tale looks like he's in shock. He does not believe what's happening. He does not trust what's happening. He runs away because he needs to separate himself from the moment. I don't really think that's.
I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree, because I disagree.
Yeah, but
that's okay.
Yeah, but I want to explain why I feel like that. He is focusing on the mean part, because the other part is too much. It's too much for him to think about. So he focuses on the part of like who is being mean here, because he knows it's about him, because he feels like Un is teasing him again. This is how I see it.
Yeah, look, you could read it that way, but I still think he was the reason why he left was like, I feel like him wording the question that way is because he's trying to work out, like, confirm that he was talking about him and not somebody else. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I feel like we've read that scene differently, and yeah, I don't think it's an issue that we've read it differently, but it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he asks who is that mean person, and Poon gives him the bouquet, or you can read it as him pointing at him, and Tale refuses to hold it, like refusing this answer. And Poon puts it into his hands and he says, I'm talking about the one I'm hitting on. And he does this thing again. He looks away to hide his smile. He looks at him through the camera. You could say like he takes a picture or whatever and leaves.
It's interesting because it's so funny. In the previous podcast, I mentioned briefly about whether or not like he would accept the bouquet if it from Pun if it was just handed to him, and then we got this scene and I was just like but it's interesting as well, like as you said, he takes this photo and then he leaves, and I was like, my interpretation, let me read you my note of this scene before the next part happened, because I was like, I'm just like, what do you say? He was it said, because it's funny because I'm like, oh, he left. Let me read it exactly to you. He left the wedding because he's jealous. At first, I thought it was because he was trying to avoid the feelings that he was having, which is how you interpreted it, kind of. But I think it's because he's jealous, because he says, who's this person who's being mean to you, or whatever he says, and it's obviously it's like the one who gives the flowers to, and then I'm just like, oh wait, so like, are we now going to get flashbacks of him remembering the fact that Pun has been super obvious about how he feels, and instead, no. Instead, we get this scene revealing the freaking conversation that I did not see coming at all, and like made me want to smack Pun. Like, what is wrong with him? Why did he do this? Like, why would he say that? Like, why? I want to smack him and say, what is wrong with you?
He was being, I think he was being dumb and fearful. I think he was afraid to be direct. He was afraid to be rejected right away. And also, when he says you can fake it, the way I read it is like fake it till you make it with him, and asking Talia to fake it.
But
like, he was hoping.
I think also, like, I mean, would probably need to go back and watch the scene again because I'm not 100% sure. But like, when he first says it, is it that Tale's response isn't immediately that what he wants, and so then he makes it seem not as serious? Like, like I'm not sure.
See, he's rejected right away. He doesn't want to be rejected right away, so he tries another way to do it. Like, let's no, we're playing, and maybe you fall in love with me and we fall in love while we're playing. That wouldn't be such a tragedy, would it?
But he's not. But he doesn't say that. He's just like, we'll just. It's like, once again, as you said, it's all a game. Like, it all seems like it's a game to him, and it's worse now because now Tale is having feelings, and this is starting to mess with him, in a way that he wasn't expecting. And given we already know he doesn't like love, or whatever, has had some sort of negative experience with it, that's not helping what's going on here as well.
But also, did you notice, before we move on to the next scene, the bouquet of flowers, it was made out of lotus flowers.
It was. I saw them and just like, once again, my I will knock you out was like, yay, lotus flowers. This is so romantic and fucked up because it shouldn't be romantic. Yeah, but
again, cool. I feel like Pun, being this actor person, being able to place himself in different positions and being this big presence that is actually very lightweight, jumps from one place to another. Like, that was so dumb of him to say that to Tale.
Yeah. The problem is, and I feel like this is the thing, and I think I mentioned this in one of the earlier podcasts, I often wonder what it's like to be an actor where you're constantly given things to say or feelings to feel or like scenes to play. Like, how, depending on the person, depending on the personality of the person, and as you said, circumstances of their life or like whatever, like how hard would it be after a while to stop acting? Like, to remember who you actually are, like what parts of you are real, what feelings are actually yours, like what actions are actually yours. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously for most people in that respect, when the actor calls cut, like people like go home and they live their lives. But like, if you don't have anything else in your life, if it becomes more comfortable, if it becomes more natural to you to act everything is a scene, everything is a game, nothing is real, because if it's all fake, it can't hurt you, right? Like, it's almost like it's a habit at this point with him as well, like a protective mechanism that he's established that, you know, like, this works for him in terms of, you know, not getting hurt. But he's just, he doesn't understand Tale at all if he's doing this, like, right at this point in time.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing he could be doing.
I think he got scared by the no. I think the no, that answer, that no, scared him.
Oh yeah.
And he acted foolishly after that. What he did, he was like, how do I fix this? How do I?
Yeah. But the problem is the reason why he gets the no initially anyway is because the actions beforehand all seemed fake. And all seems like
it's
an act,
all about the play,
like a game.
It's all about the scene.
Yeah. And so Tale, in that response, when he's like, how about we fall in love, where, like, as I said, it's like the weirdest question ever to put to somebody, but he was being earnest with it. But like, Tale straight away was like, no, I don't want to play a game with you. So it's not necessarily rejection of love, I don't think, but like, he was rejecting Pun, like,
because the question was weird.
It was weird, and it was like, it wasn't like he had been earnest the whole time, or if he had been, he didn't show it. He didn't present himself that way. He very much presented himself the way of the actor.
It's not like he said, "Okay, I have feelings for you. Let's be boyfriends." He said, "What if we fall in love? Like, what if we do this experiment?" And Tade is like, "I don't play with this stuff. It's too serious for me. It's too important for me. It affects me too much." He's not willing to risk, getting vulnerable just to test this theory that Pun has, especially because to Pun, it seems like it's such an easy thing to do for Pun. It's like, for him, it might be superficial and not important.
Well, he said, the other thing is Pun has actually said a bunch of times that he doesn't know anything, about love, and he doesn't know anything about that, but he knows how to play it.
Yeah, like, he did scenes like this, and it's so easy for him to fake it. He actually says it, as, "I'm an actor, I fake it all the time."
Yeah. And so how do you
Which makes Tale feel even worse.
Yes, exactly. And then we get the last scene of this episode, and oh my god, this scene. Oh,
I know, right?
I just, you know what though? This scene was brilliant eye opener for me, and I'll get to why, and I know you're gonna love it. So, but
I know what you're talking about.
So
this is the scene.
Basically, we have Tale studying with his university friends in, I guess it's meant to be like the library or something. And then everyone is talking about this thing that's happening, and it's like someone coming up in, I don't know what those things are called, but it's like a kind of like a lift thing that people use on the outside of buildings to like wash windows and stuff. And of course it's Pun with his pink can of spray can of graffiti paint, where he draws a heart.
Like doing this grand romantic gesture, like this thing that is done in the movies, like in the older movies, where the character is like, "Oh, look," like does something in front of a lot of people, but in reality it's kind of
holds a sign
not
up
something
with, or I'm reminded of a movie that my sister loved from the 80s called Some Kind of Wonderful, where like someone stands out the side of the house with like a they used to call them, what are they called, like a boombox, like a like a radio, like playing music, like playing the theme song from the movie. And it was like this big romantic thing, and it's like, but really, like, I don't know, these ideas of grand gestures almost always backfire, I think, in reality, because it's like, it's embarrassing. Like,
especially if you're someone who is private, especially if you're someone who takes things very seriously.
And not only that, like, if you're a rational person and like, usually in these things, people are doing stuff like this. I mean, not in this instance. He's not doing it because he's like done something wrong previously, or like necessarily like hurt or upset Tale specifically. But like, usually in the movies or like shows or whatever, when they do these big grand gestures, it's because they're trying to make up for something stupid. And it's like in reality, if you're upset, like someone doing something like that, I feel like for me personally would just piss me off, because that's not an apology.
Mhm,
That's like just like
mhm.
some big grand gesture that like now I'm embarrassed and I'm mad.
Now you're being put on the spot, and people are
Yeah.
questioning like the witnesses, like, what, why, what's wrong with you, like he's so perfect, like look what
Oh
he did for
yeah,
you,
that's
and you're
right.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
And then you
and
become
the
the mean
pressure.
person.
And
Yeah.
yes, and also you have to, like, if you say no or if you act mean, suddenly you're this villain who puts
Yeah.
them
It's like
down in front of
people
every,
who, yeah, it's
everyone
like
else.
people who do like wedding, like marriage proposals in public, like in a restaurant
Mhm,
full of people or something. Why would you do that? That's not romantic. That's embarrassing. And like as you said, you've just put that person on the spot. Like how would you ever know that they legitimately wanted to marry you? Like do it in the privacy of
mhm.
your own home.
I suppose there are moments, like there are people, like certain relationships where they certainly know each other very well and they know that the answer would be yes. Maybe
Mm.
they talked about this. I think it can work in certain situations, but
Yeah, like if you've got someone you've already talked about getting married, like you know you want to get married, you're just
yeah.
waiting for the official question, and the person has maybe said like, "Oh, when I get engaged to, I really want my family there," or something like that. Like that's different, but like to just do it
Mhm,
like randomly without them knowing, and
mhm.
I
Yeah,
just feel that
taking them
that's,
by
yeah.
surprise.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and so of course he does this thing where he spray paints the pink heart on the window, like vandal that he is. He's always writing on windows, and then he writes Tale in the heart. And I love how Tessa's friends is like, "Who's Tale?" Because they're like, as far as they were concerned, this dude was into their friend, and like
Yeah,
his Tess. So
yeah.
they're like, "Who's this Tale person?" So he's like,
Hmm.
he feels embarrassed. Besides, like whatever, he also now feels embarrassed because he can't explain that. I mean, I suppose you could.
Hmm.
You'd be like, "Oh, that's his nickname for me," or something. You could explain it, I guess. But like, it's he's on the spot again. It's this big thing, and once again, he goes and he confronts him because he's like, "What is this? Like, are you playing with
Hmm.
me?" Essentially.
Hmm.
To which stupid, 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 stupid
Oh
boy
God.
says, "Yes, I'm totally playing with you. This is all just about like writing a scene, a romantic scene. Um, he needs the
He
practice."
thought like Tele would think this is funny. Like, oh look, haha, yeah, isn't it great?
I'm not really sure like what he was going for, but like once again,
Yeah.
I really wanted to smack him because he says to him, Tale says something to him like,
So all of this was for your screenplay, and you
yeah,
see the camera focuses on Jimmy's face, and it's like Poon considers, he feels something is off. He waits in, like he considers what his answer should be,
and then
but
says the
he
wrong thing.
decides to do the wrong thing. Yes.
And in this scene,
Oh
I
God.
have to say, this scene is the first, like, don't get me wrong, I do think C's a good actor and everything, but this is the first scene where I have had a physical reaction to something he did on screen. Like, my stomach dropped, my palms got all sweaty, and I just, like, I felt so fucking bad for him. My heart broke in this scene for him, because
He
he is,
looks
like,
broken-hearted.
yes, because in
His
this
eyes.
moment right here, I feel like he realizes that he loves him, or at least that he really likes him, and it's not
Or maybe he
pretending.
realizes that he thought Boone liked him, and now he realizes that he was wrong, and he
Yeah,
started having feelings for this person that doesn't care about him and only is only
exactly.
playing with his heart, does
Yeah,
not
yeah,
take him seriously, and thinks he can do whatever, plays with his emotions,
yeah. Like it's
and
like
that's
it's like, and he gets he's hurt because of all of that, but then he gets angry because it's like it's almost like you made me feel this way, and you weren't
yeah.
serious. Like I was fine. You know what I mean? Like I was fine when I was, whatever, like I did not need this and I don't
And
need
this
it now.
happened. Listen, and this happened after he got vulnerable with him. He asked for comfort, and Poon was like, "I can be that person for you. I will do that." Blah blah blah. And now what? He only did all that just to play with him.
And it's like,
And that is horrible because
and you think about that in this situation too. Like, literally, they really only have each other because they only know the situation they're in. Like, it's not like he can go to, Tessa's friends and explain what's going on. It's not like he can go to Tun's friends and be like, oh, I'm really upset because, but like he can't turn to Puen and be like, this thing happened to me today and I'm devastated and I don't know what to do about it. He literally has no one now because he's taken like essentially his person away by behaving this way. So in effect, like previously I'd mentioned in the last podcast about how like this was the biggest thing that he could have offered him, was this idea of like, I'll be there for you no matter what, I'll listen to you, whatever. Like, he's taken that away. Like he essentially lied to him because he's not that person. Like, he can't be that person for him, especially in this moment. And it's just, but C's face was so heartbreaking. Like, his eyes and just like, it was like this, like, barely restrained anger, disappointment, fear, and like sadness, like all going on at once. And it was just like
you could feel the pain. Like, I feel so bad. What I'm thinking, I want to cry.
As I said, my stomach dropped, and like I'm surprised I didn't actually start crying. Like, I feel like if the scene had gone on for a little bit longer, I probably would have. And I also wasn't really expecting it too. Do you know what I mean? Like, usually,
but it's because I feel like you could have cried because, if it went a bit longer, because right here, this moment, Pin continued to flirt. Like, he continued to play. He approached him with this, like, attitude, like, it's a good thing. Like, if you fall in love with me, like, we might unveil, we might solve this universe travel thing. And Talay pushes him away. And then we get this, stop doing this. And he says, if we were right for each other, we would be back already. And this is the first time when Poonen understands what's going on, and you see that these words hurt him, that we were not right for each other. And this is the moment when
you see him realize what's actually happening in this scene, because up until then I don't think he realized that he'd pushed too far. So yeah, for sure. And it's like, the other thing is I wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, sometimes I feel like sometimes for me, depending on my mood, I need a little bit more lead up for me to actually cry. And often when it's when it's going to happen, like, you get the foreshadowing, you get the, like, you can, the sad music starts like way before the scene starts, or like, something happens and then it happens. And by that stage, you're already kind of almost there anyway. And to me, I mean, being that I haven't seen this before, I wasn't quite expecting, this to happen. Like, maybe I was expecting some sort of, confrontation or whatever, but I wasn't expecting for Tale to, or for C, for example, to really communicate this, like, kind of like, it almost looked like it was definitely anger, but also like this almost like despair kind of. Which is an interest, which does to me indicate already a significant depth of feeling for Pun. And so it's like kind of devastating a little bit. And also, I'm not used to seeing Jimmy be such a dick, honestly. So I was like kind of offended, but also a little bit impressed. But I was like, but I was very impressed with C. I was like, wow, okay, this is the first time. Like, I usually his characters piss me off, unfortunately, I have to say. And up until now, I had kind of been like,
You've only seen one of his characters. What are you talking about? We're talking about Day, usually his characters. You will love Talay. Talay is a sweetheart. Talay is the best.
But what I'm saying is like, up until now, yes, okay, Day pissed me off. But like, up until now with Talay, I'd kind of been like, like, I hadn't really been.
You were skeptical.
Nothing had happened that had invested. Like, I wasn't invested in his character at all. I was like, whatever. But with, which I know was like pissing you off majorly. I could like literally hear it in your voice every time you spoke about it. And like, and I'm like, Jimmy, like I always am. As I said, if this was K-pop,
not about Jimmy, it's about Poon.
Yes. Sorry. Okay, Pun. Okay, well, if this was K-pop, I would be Pun biased, but now I'm like, am I still Team Pun or am I Team Tale / C? I'm not really sure. And I'm like, it's fun because I wasn't expecting it, and I'm very, very impressed. I'm like, wow, C. And as I said, don't come at me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not a great actor. He is. But he did a great job in Last Twilight, even though he fucked me off royally. His character fucked me off royally, rather. Which actually probably is good acting in itself, because, you know, if you have that much visceral reaction to something, it's, yeah. But the writers also had a hand in that too. But yeah, I feel like this is the first time, though, that, like, I feel a personal connection to one of his characters. And I feel like that, to me, is a different level again of, like, acting. And I don't know, I can't even say, like, I'm not even saying that makes someone a good actor or a bad actor or, like, a better actor or, like, whatever. It's just, for whatever reason, I guess, you know, something clicks in you that you either sympathize with, empathize with. It touches on maybe a experience you've had of your own, or what, I don't know what it is, but, like, sometimes some characters just, like, make you feel this way. And this is the first time it's happened with C, for example. But yeah, I was floored. I was just like, wow, there is so much going on in his face, in his eyes, even the way he spoke, you know, like, just everything about it was like chef's kiss. It was amazing.
Yes.
So I was very
Happy
excited.
right now.
Sorry?
Oh, I'm so happy right now. You finally see the truth.
But it's like, it's so funny because I was so excited, and then, like, this scene ended and I was like, what the fuck? This was 7 minutes? Well, I suppose the first part was 22. But I was like, this was only 7 minutes long? How could
And it was so
they?
intense. 7 minutes long, but so much going on, huh? Continuing with the scene, Tele asks him, "So you just having fun messing with me?" Well, he doesn't really ask. This is an affirmation, basically, already at this point, because he has asked, he gave Boone many chances to answer differently already, and Boone keeps fucking up. And so at this point, he does not really expect an answer. And Boone, it's already too late. Boone tries. He's like, "I'm not messing with your eye," but it's late. It's too late. The walls are down.
Yeah.
He says, "Stop doing this to me." And this is my moment when we see Boone regret on Boone's face, because he sees that he's hurt Tale. Finally, fucking time. It's time to see that, and it's absolutely not something that he wanted to do.
Are you
Obviously,
angry at Pun, Marilla?
we're fine. And so Tale says, "Feelings aren't something you can toy with. It's not funny. This is like it's not funny. The it's not funny hurt me. It's not funny." Because
well, it's like,
and I actually,
sorry, continue.
no, go on.
Well, it's like almost when this scene happened as well, it made me look back or think about, like, previous scenes wherever, like, Pun had been flirty or, like, overly, like, sort of committed to whatever, like, relationship building or whatever, and it's always with, like, a bit of a joke. Like, so he literally he has made a bit of a mockery, it feels like. And so obviously that wasn't his intention. I feel like that is definitely a defense mechanism of his. But because Tale doesn't know anything about him, really, about his past, who he is, his situation, the way he acts with people, like the way he's acting this way, why he's doing
He
it.
refuses to tell him who he is. He refuses to tell him his name.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is so, like, it's understandable that he is taking him at face value. Like, he is like, this is how you're treating me. The fact that, you know, Pun has done it out of fear or out of, like, whatever, it doesn't really matter, and it's not going to matter to him, because all he can see is what's being presented to him, what he's being presented, is that Pun is like a dick who has made a mockery of his feelings. Like, he's made him, not only has he made a mockery of his feelings, but he made him feel these feelings in the first place by like being sweet and flirty and doing all these things, and then on the other hand just like making a joke out of it. And so like the fact that he's angry, totally understandable. The fact that he's so sad and disappointed about it is like devastating.
Yeah. And then we get this look on Pun's face that it's like painfully vulnerable. It's kind of like the look on the child's face when the child is being accused of doing something wrong. And they realize that they did something bad. And I think he gets overwhelmed at this point, and he says, fine, I'm sorry, and I'm not going to do that again, or something like this. And he leaves. Yeah. What a scene, huh? I love this scene.
Yeah, well, as I said, I was not expecting it. I wasn't really expecting anything at this point. I wasn't sure what was going to happen in this section. And it's definitely not the conversation I was expecting them to have when Tale rushed out and went down there. I kind of was expecting more of a thing like, like of him using his name, or like, I really wasn't expecting what we got, and I definitely wasn't expecting the emotion from him. Because it's interesting that he let Pun see that as well. Do you know what I mean? For someone who's so closed off himself and has made like a show of like not sharing things necessarily, or like whatever, to let him, I mean, obviously it's unconscious, he was so hurt he wasn't able to like lock it in or lock it down, but it's like the fact that, not only did we get to see it, but Pun also gets to see it, and it's just like,
because it's like he showed him his vulnerability. He showed him that he hurt him. He gave him multiple chances to change his answer, and when he got the answer that upset him, he let him know how much that it hurt him. And it's like, it kind of feels like he's teaching a child how to behave, at this point. He's teaching him how to live in society and how to interact with people, and he's giving him chances again and again. He's being patient with him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but at this point, he was too hurt because his own feelings were involved to act differently in this moment.
Yeah, we had a similar scene, didn't we? Like, where he was angry at him because of the drinking and the ruining of, say, like Tessa's life or whatever, potentially. Like, as you said, that was definitely a teaching moment there, and so yeah, there are definite similarities between the two scenes for sure.
I love him.
Well, I was eager to continue this scene. Like, I was like, as I said, when it ended, I was like, wait, what? No. And when Pun just left, I was like, wait, what? No. So I think we should go and watch part 4, because I need to know what happens next. I mean, besides the thing that was thoroughly spoiled to me, and was like all over my screen as like a huge screensaver. It's funny because after a while it changes, and then suddenly it was like 2 hippos swimming, and I'm like, what? Couldn't it have been 2 hippos swimming earlier? Like, anyway. Let's go watch the spoiler bit and see how it gets. I have no idea how they're going to get to that part, but anyway.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Hello, part 4.
4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. 4. So, like, the scene, it starts with him in his bedroom, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the pink lights just look mocking now.
Magenta, but also, did you notice they reflect as blue on the pillows? And he's thinking about it. He's considering, he's mulling it over. He considers it from all the angles possible. And then
it's interesting that the bit that he focuses on, that he's like actually remembering in this scene, is Pun saying that he wouldn't do this to him anymore and like leaving.
Leaving. I think what he thinks about here is seeing Pun being upset. That is what he's concerned about. He's concerned about seeing that expression on Pun's face. He's concerned about Pun. He's like,
Yeah.
did I misunderstand something? Is there
Yeah.
something there? Why would he, like, he goes to the place of the crime and he is thinking about things, and the music, violin music, playing violin part is very pretty there and very dramatic. And he
Well, it's
looks for him.
yeah, it's like I feel like as a bit like what you were saying, the him thinking about that scene in particular, and as you said, being concerned and everything. It's like it's that thing that we do, or it's like he's having that moment where you are able to take a step back from an event that happens, and you think about it
Mhm.
afterwards, and you think, "Oh, I shouldn't have said
Was it
that,"
too
or "Oh, I
harsh?
shouldn't have done
Yeah.
that." Yeah, yeah. Because in that moment, he was so angry and hurt, he wasn't really paying attention to Pun himself, just the words he was saying.
Mhm.
And so like he was looking,
He
he was
didn't really
taking
say.
things. Yeah,
He
he was
didn't really
taking.
say anything to Poon to upset him, but Poon looked very upset,
Yeah.
and so that
So
was something to think about for him.
yeah, but he was taking in the moment, he's taking what Pun was saying to him at face value, where he's saying, "Oh yeah, like I was messing with you, blah blah blah." So like he's like that was his main focus. He wasn't really paying attention to Pun himself. And so now
Yeah.
he's reflecting, and then now he's like wondering, like what the fuck happened. And as you said, he goes to the school, someone is cleaning off the grand gesture and wiping it away like it was nothing or like it never happened. At this point I was like, is he gonna look for him? And then it's so funny because the next thing we got is him going to the studio. And at first it's like it's funny because like one of two things was going to happen from the previous scene where he was like at the university. Either one, he's still upset and he's going to try and avoid him, or
Mhm.
he's going to go looking for him. And so like when he gets there and he's like, oh, he's not here, I was like, oh, he's looking for him. And
Then Poon,
yeah, yeah, that he's looking for
you
Pun.
thought
Yeah.
Poon was looking for Tali?
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no. Tale. When Tale goes to the studio, he's looking for
he
Pun.
wants to hear him out again. He doesn't want to
Yeah,
stay. He doesn't want. He. It's not even about him anymore. He just doesn't want Poon to be upset because he gets even more concerned when he hears Up
yeah.
say
He
he
said
wants
he'd
to isolate.
yeah, he said he'd isolate himself and write the script.
Yeah, he's just concerned about Poon at this point. He wants to fix it for Poon.
I
And
love how Up says, "Who hangs out for 3 minutes?" Because he like basically just like abandons them as soon as he gets there.
yeah. And then he goes to the association, and the
We get
code
the
today,
the Kai third code.
you're not a movie, you're real. Thank you. Thank you. And so he finds the nurse, and they ask him, do you want to vent to the support group? And as we talked in episode 1, it is not his thing. This is not
No.
helpful for him. And it's not really for anyone that help. It is something that it is not something that actually helps them feel like happy, be happy. Like it might help them not fall into the pit completely and really, really bad place, but not help them be happy.
Yeah, but it was like what I was saying before. The person that he would vent to he can't vent to, is gone.
Yeah.
Even if he wants to vent to Pun, he can't find him. So like he's kind of, he says no and she's just like, liar.
And then the nurse suggests you can talk to me, and he says, someone has done something nice to me. I thought it was serious, but he did it just for fun. And I just love him so much. He tries to understand him. He's seeking advice. He's seeking, outside input. And I love how the nurse, they have the conversation and like, maybe you misunderstood, maybe basically give him another chance to explain himself. And I like how when he says someone has done something, he doesn't say Poon has, Tan has done something, but the nurse is like, you are together all the time. You
Wouldn't you know? Yeah, if you're close to this person, you should know where they are or something like that.
She's like, I know who you're talking about. Come on. Just, go look for Tan. They might as well have said, go look for Tan. you must know where he is. And so Tale actually does know where he is, the greenhouse.
The bit when he runs
And
out in
then,
the rain is interesting too, I feel like, because she says to him, wait, because it's raining. And he runs out
yeah.
in the rain, and it's like, you see the magenta light behind him, and then
Yeah.
he stops for a second and
It
he's
starts.
considering.
It starts as blue. It starts as blue rain, and then it's transformed. The colors changed into magenta.
No,
And I
but when
think,
he runs out, the lighting
yeah,
behind him is magenta. When he
hmm
stops and he pauses for a second, like he's considering, like, should I really do this or whatever,
hmm
it's blue behind him. But then when he
hmm
like embraces everything that's happening in this moment, and he like,
hmm
looks up to the sky, and that's when the color changes for the rain. But like until then, it was like he was like, yes, yes, I should do this, and he was like, wait, yes, yes, yes. Like that's kind of like how they did it with the lights.
hmm But also, I feel like it's kind of like him deciding to go for it to go to Pun. This thing, it gives him freedom, like the forgiveness, the idea to let it
Yeah,
go, and
washing it
to
away.
yes, and it looks like a big romantic gesture because he surely gets sucked to the bones. And
Mm.
this romantic gesture that is like also a great grand romantic gesture could have been, but it's seen by no one. It's something that happens just to him. We are the
Yeah.
only ones who see it.
Mm.
And also, I've been thinking when he gets there and
Oh,
Poon,
seriously, when he gets there, the way Pun greets him, just like I melted into a puddle.
say more.
Well, because he says, like, as he's going, like, he gets there and he doesn't see him immediately, so he's disappointed and he's gonna leave.
Mhm,
And Pun
mhm,
says, "Been waiting for you." Like he's just been sitting there the whole time thinking about him too.
mhm.
And you'll notice, like, he didn't have any like workout or anything. Like he legit was just sitting there. That he's so earnest in this scene, like his face when the camera focuses on him.
Mhm. He's wearing black, and I feel like this is the color of Pun's loneliness. This is this mysterious color that he's wearing in the beginning when he doesn't really um is not really invested into the idea of soulmates. Like when we don't know much about him, when he pulls back,
Mm.
he wears black.
It's interesting that you say that as well, because like if we're wanting to use it for a metaphor, it's a really interesting one. There is a lot of different like schools of thought about color and stuff, and about what constitutes a color, which colors aren't colors, all that sort of stuff. Like a lot of people say black isn't a color.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say that black is the devoid of color.
Yeah.
And so if we're looking at it from that perspective, if like that is your school of thought, that black
Mm-hmm.
is a shade devoid of all color, then if you think about that black is his default when he's sad or he's whatever, his life has no color in it. What better to make you happy than to invite a colorist? And when he meets
Oh God,
Tale,
Zoe.
when he meets Tale, all these colors appear. When Tale leaves, there's no color. It's back to being void of color.
Black is the color of nothingness and
Mm.
and of not existing,
Yeah,
basically. If you
yeah.
look at it from this point of view, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tale breaks my heart even more in this scene because he's like, okay, I'm just going to play by his rules. It's like he offers himself. You can do, like, I can do this for you. This is where the characters meet. I came here because
But it,
I understood this part of him. He understood that this is how it works for him.
but I also feel like this is a little bit of like him saying, like um by him saying that, and then he says to Pun something like, what does he say?
Did you
The
get the feeling that you
characters
wanted?
came here. Yeah, did you get the inner
Yeah.
character feelings that you need? So like it's almost
Mhm.
like he's saying, like, by me coming here for you, do you feel anything? Like, is this like, am I alone, or are we both feeling this? Like I feel like that was like a way for him to get confirmation on mutual feelings. Like, that's kind of how it came across to me. And I feel like, as I said, I feel like the way they start talking about the script and stuff, it's almost like they're using it as a metaphor for their relationship. Like, I loved that. Like, it was like, we can't, okay, clearly we're not ready to talk about what's actually happening, so let's, you know, like, let's do it this way. And the way Tale says to him about it better not have a crap ending or whatever, like, that's not his exact words, but like, he basically says, like, you better not mess it up. It's like, you better not mess this up. How I interpreted it. So even though, as you said, even though he's like, I'll work with him on this, it's clearly like they're having a conversation within a conversation, essentially. At least from my point of view. As I said, I don't know what happens later. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but from my point of view,
I'm alternating between this and also what you're saying, because I feel like maybe it's both at the same time, because I don't think they are on the same page yet. I think they still don't understand each other very well.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they do, but I feel
And
like
they're
this
using
is like the tentative first steps. Like, this distance them from getting a hurt. Like you said, like, Tale has said to Pun, okay, I'll play it your way because you clearly need this, and I want to be here for you in this way. It's more important in this point in time. However, like, you should be aware of the fact that if you fuck this up, it's going to hurt me. Like, I feel like there's two conversations, as I said, like, there's the conversation about what's actually happening, and then there's the conversation about, like, what he wants to happen. Like, and but it gives him,
but at the same time, I feel like maybe he is like, okay, now now that I know what's going on, now that I'm not going to assume things, I'm just going to be prepared to whatever you're going to do, for whatever you're going to do.
I think by
it's like,
using,
it's very confusing. I think it's supposed to be confusing because they themselves, I mean, Tale, it's not clear what the hell is going on, even for them. They don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I feel like, as I said, once again, you obviously know more than I do. I haven't seen it, but I feel like, for me, the way it came across anyway, yes, definitely all of those things, but I feel like there's safety in wording it the way they're wording it, like, especially, like, from Tale's point of view, because, as you said, like, he's like, okay, let's play this game. Like, I am now agreeing to play this game with you. Before, I wasn't a willing participant. Now I'm willing to play this game with you, and we'll see where it goes. But as you said, there is a distance. By doing it as if they're playing this game, by doing it as if it's all about the script, then there is you're distancing yourself. So you're, like, protecting yourself. He's putting a slight wall up to make sure, as you said, when he does something that's outside of playing the game, let's say, oh no, he's serious. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's part of what's happening here. And I feel like it's being said in the conversation, but as you said, like, they maybe both aren't realizing that that's what's happening. Although I do kind of feel like maybe they do, because of course when Pun stops him,
especially
I feel like
he thought about it while he was there. Like, he realized that what he did hurt Tale, and he realized maybe that this is a defense mechanism, and this is something that he jumped into without really thinking too much about the consequences.
Yeah.
Because it's something that he does.
Yeah.
And he is like, oh no, well, I might as well try it. It's like this fatalistic way of being.
Yeah.
Might as well. But now he is aware of the consequences, and now he is going to be more not thoughtful. What is the word?
I guess more considerate, more
mindful
careful about, mindful of his actions. That's right. So very clear about what is for the script and what is for them. And I feel like he at least got that message, because the next thing that happens is the kiss, and he says to him, I'm not messing with you this time. Like, he's very clear, and he's very earnest when he says it. He's very serious about it. To the point where I feel like not just the kiss shocks Tale, but like the switch in being playful to being so serious shocks him. Like, he's already shocked before Pun actually kisses him. Like, you can see he's already kind of surprised. And so, like, they're now walking this line between, like, are they or aren't they, and what's happening and things like that. So, but as I said, by linking everything to the script, by linking everything to sort of almost like playing a game, it's going to give at least Tale a cushion to check, like, how he feels and, like, how Pun feels before, like, it's just assuming things, I guess. But I had a thought while all this was happening as well, and it was this thought about, like, if these guys sort their shit out, right? Because the idea is that, like, they've been taken to this opposite place, both, like, couples, to basically sort their shit out, okay? So if Tess and Tun sort their shit out, then theoretically they get to go home, right? Or if Pun and Tale sort their shit out, they get to go home. If Tan and Tess sort their shit out, they get to go home. So, like, if one couple sorts their shit out first and the other couple still hasn't sorted their shit out, they go back, right?
Yeah.
Stuff unresolved.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't stay there if the other person's coming back into their body. So, like,
yes, they mentioned that in the beginning. Like, they told them, yes, in episode 1, they said, the nurse, when they were explaining Tale, like, if they find their port key first, you get to go back home. Like, maybe they do, like, maybe they have the luck.
Okay, so I missed that conversation. Like, it didn't, like, sink in at the time. Like, I remember them saying, if you die, you die. And that's because that was my other question, was, if they sort their shit out and you haven't sorted your shit out, do you just die? So no, you go back. Okay, yeah. So that's interesting, because then you literally have no control, do you, really? Like, potentially you could find your port key and go back, but you also could be, like, really enjoying what's going on and everything, and then just suddenly disappear because, you know, the other person has sorted their crap out.
Yeah.
That's right. And do they have, like, control? Like, can you choose to stay? Well, no, not if the other person sorts their shit out, right?
Well, theoretically, the instructions are, you dream of a place, right? Yeah. And then you must go to that place to get back. If you dream of the place, you know the place that gets you back, and you avoid it, you never go back.
Yeah, but if if the person whose body you're in sorts their shit out and they come back, you have to go. You can't stay.
Yeah, you're just thrown back. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, there's no, yeah. So that's, I was just curious.
You can control it on your part, but you cannot control. If you decide to stay, you probably would just hope that the other person never sorts their shit out. So, or that they decide to stay as well, if they do.
Yeah, because otherwise you've got no say in it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting to think about. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, so what do you think about the fact that he kissed him in this moment? I wasn't expecting a kiss in episode 4. For those who were unsure, the kiss was the thing that was on my screensaver, and it was, like, massive. It was massive, and it kept getting really close to me because they kept zooming in on it. But what was your thought process? Because a kiss in episode 4 is pretty rare.
It is. I think maybe he understood himself a little bit at that point, because maybe he was not that aware of the fact that that the things that he was doing were not for the script, that he was following his heart. And I think that when he realized he hurt Tale, he realized how serious that is. And then what he basically saw here is Tale accepting this as a game. And maybe he wanted to make it clear that it's not a game for him.
Yeah. And so,
what do you think?
Well, as I said, it's tricky for me because I don't have the luxury of knowing what happens next. So I do feel like that is the reason why he does it. Like, I feel like he wanted to make it clear that there was a line between, like the messing with him and, like, his actual feelings. So even though before, when he was playing with him, there wasn't really a line. Like, everything he was doing was because he liked him. He obviously, like, he was using the motivations or the excuse of the script of, like, wanting to try this, of, like, messing with him. Like, all of those things are just excuses at the end of the day, because he literally says to him, I mean, it's funny because, like, this is the thing, isn't it? He was so good at, if you're Tale and you're assuming that he's been messing with you and he was playing with you this whole time, he's so good at playing it, right? Like, he even says
But
about how good he is.
But it's because, he's barely a functioning person if you think about it. Like, Tele has to teach him how to, keep people in his life. And what he does, he doesn't know how to behave. Like, he did not probably have people that he could watch closely and understand how relationships work.
No,
What he knows
yeah.
are patterns from movies, from characters. And so he imitates that because that's the only thing that he knows.
Yeah, that's right. There's that thing I was talking about earlier about, like, being, like, trapped in the script, because, like, at a certain point it all just feels like this is how reality is, where it's like, it's not like that at all. Like, reality is not a romantic, comedy. But no, that's not what I was referring to. I was referring to the fact that he says to him, because, like, he says, like, previously in that, about how he's really good at it, like how he can play the part and all that sort of stuff. But he says to him something that's very interesting, which is that if it was with anyone else, like, it wouldn't be as good as it was with him. So in other words, like, he wouldn't be able to act so well. Like, he did such a convincing job because it was him. Like, with someone else, he wouldn't be as convincing. So, like, it was easy for him to, like, I'm using air quotations here, pretend, or, like, whatever, because the feelings
Just went
are
with the
already there.
flow.
Yeah, but because the feelings are already there. So it's like, it's way easier to pretend to be, like, it must be so easy. Like, it must be a great job if you can, your co-star is like your lover in real life. Like, how, like, I mean, there'd be a little bit of embarrassment when you get to scenes where there's, like, 30 people in the room and you're having a romantic scene or whatever. But in general, getting to go to work with them every day and pretending that, like you love, like, or not pretending, but, like, acting like you love each other when you already love each other. What an easy job. What a, like, how convincing you can be. Like, it'd be your best script ever, like.
But besides that, when actors play with their partners, they're playing a character, so they have to pretend to be someone else. Yes, it's easier to, that feeling already
The
exists, so it's
intimacy.
easier to
Yeah.
cling onto that. The intimacy exists, the trust exists, yeah. So it makes their job easier. But here, it's even more than that, because he is creating the character.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to play, like, there are no set of rules, and there are no traits that he has to adopt, to be different from himself. He creates the character on the place based on himself.
Yeah.
So it's so easy. It is easy. He just has to go with the flow and be like, oh, what is that? What is that? What if I try that? He's just leaving and thinking that he's acting.
Yeah, but it's that. But as I said, the fact that he sort of tries to reassure, it's like almost like it's his way of saying to Tale, like this all happened because of you. It's not, like, I wouldn't have done this with anyone else. Like, even though it's, like, fucked up or whatever, like, I wouldn't have bothered. Like, they would, like, I wouldn't even have been interested to, like, play with someone else, even if that's, like, all they were doing. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that it was him makes it important, makes it meaningful, makes it whatever, makes it real. You know
Makes
what I
him
mean?
inspiration. The fact that it's him he makes him want to do it.
That's right. He wants to know what real love is and how he would act and how he would feel. And that's why he says that, like, he's actually says something like how I would act if I was really in love. And it's like, well, you can't really play it that. Like, if you're behaving this way, this is how you behave when you're really in love.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to figure himself out, and it's hard. It's hard for him. And if it's hard for him, it's even harder for Talie. But he's trying so hard. He wants to understand him.
It's like the struggle is real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I must admit, as I said, it was so funny because in the last scene in part 3, I was like, C and Tale owned me. They really did.
Mm-hmm.
In this scene, like in the first part of this scene, obviously it's like it's Tale's show for sure. But in
Mm-hmm.
this scene, I got pulled back a little bit towards Pun, because purely and simply for that line when he first walks in, when he's going to leave. Now, because there's two things. I mean, obviously it's a drama, like shit happens because they need to perpetuate the story and the action and everything. But this idea of like, if we're looking at it like as, say it was like a real life situation. Let's just pretend this was
Mm-hmm.
real. This really was happening, and like Tale goes there, he can't see him, he turns and he leaves, right? So now Pun could have just let him go
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't see him there, but he didn't want
Mm-hmm.
to, right? He didn't want to let him go. And but like this is the words, like how he says, like, been waiting for you. Like it's like he's literally, and it's so like when you think about it from a romantic perspective, when you think about it from like what's happening to them right now, what we know of Pun's background, just everything, like he has been waiting for Tale for like forever.
Again, he does not really exist if Tale is not there.
Mm. His life
He's
is
waiting for Tale to
well,
to you know to give him color, to make him exist, to make him not be
to make him
darkness
a
and
real
nothingness.
boy.
Yeah, make
Yeah.
him, teach him be a person, help him become a better version of himself. It's just
But yeah, so that line broke me a little bit, but I also loved it as well. And then it's just, as you said, the way Tale is, how it's like he's decided that this is okay. It's funny because we do this with people we care about, don't we? Like we justify things, and we also make allowances for things when
yeah,
like maybe something might make us feel uncomfortable, but we know that the person we care about needs this thing to
needed.
function.
Yeah.
We bend.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And relationships work when we bend for each other. They don't
And
work when
him,
we can't bend, or if we bend too much and we break. Like, like there
yes,
has to be there's a fine line there. But like it's interesting that he decides that he would rather have, well, not interesting, but like it's curious that he decides
yeah,
that he would rather have a little bit of pain but still have Pun in his life and still be there
yes.
for him.
This rigid, strong-minded person, as he himself said, decides to bend like this and just let him do this to him, even though it hurt him so much, and he just decides, okay, this is fine. I can do this. He needs it. This is how he functions.
Well, I mean, this in itself is a show. It's an act of love. It's like a what do you call it? What do they say when you do things when you, it's like you're no, acts of service is the wrong word, but it's like like when you have like your love language or whatever. Maybe Tale's love language is that he bends in this way for the person that he cares about.
He becomes more flexible.
Mm.
Yes. Oh, I love this story so much. Again, I'm having the Good Place flashbacks. I made a list of why, like a Venn diagram of why Poon
I
reminds
love
me
that.
of Eleanor, and why Chidi reminds me of, Tale reminds me of Chidi.
I love that you
For
have
those who
a
watch
Venn
this show,
diagram.
they're just, yeah. I love both of these shows. I'm obsessed with The Good Place. It's also a show that becomes better and better and better on rewatch. And will you? Do you think you'll rewatch this? Like based on this, the feelings that you got
Do
up
you
to
mean
this
like
episode, like if it
rewatch vice
yeah,
versa?
vice versa. Yes, if it continues this way, and no, major, dramatic thing like with Last Twilight happens until the end, and it's
Look,
like if it's like this until the end, do you think you'd rewatch it?
if I watch it and at the end of like how many episodes is this? 12 episodes? If I
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it and at the end of 12 episodes I'm left feeling like I have like a good feeling inside, I'll
Mhm.
rewatch it at some point. Because I always revisit stuff that I've watched that's
Mhm.
made me feel good. Like, you know what I mean? Even if, and like I said, it's funny because I was having a conversation with my mom the other day. You know, we talked about on the podcast for last episode for this one, where we're discussing like script ideas and that, and they were talking about like how basically that if you don't know how to finish it, you split them up and bring them back together and have like an ambiguous ending. So like mum and I were talking about that because she'd watched the show, and she basically said to me, "Oh, you not going to want to watch this because like XYZ happens." Like she knows all of my, you know, things I don't like, you know, love triangles, someone dies at the end, they don't end up together again, you know, like she knows all the things I don't like. And this one I think had all three. She was like, yeah, this is like the trifactor of like do not watch if your name is Zoe kind of thing. And so we were just randomly having a conversation, and I sort of was telling her about how this is in vice versa, and like how you and I were talking about it on the podcast. And we were just saying like I do not understand why they do stuff like this in shows, and you know, like how ending a show where you feel bad at the end of it, like, you know, like maybe it's a show and like the characters had like all these hardships they had to go through, and you know they finally find each other, they love each other, like the, you know, it's like a passion is like 1,000, you know, fiery suns, and it's just like insane connection that they have, that you know they would die for each other, or they would, you know, like crazy romantic love that we all want, but it's not totally impractical. And then like one of them dies or something, and you're just like, you're left going like, why? And like you feel shit afterwards, because it's like, what was the fucking point? Like, why did I torture myself for, you know, X amount of episodes only to be thoroughly like devastated at the end? You know, like I sort of said to mum, I'm fine if they want to torture the characters for like 9 out of the 12 episodes, like go for it, but like at the end I want this payoff. I want to go away feeling like, oh well, my life's crap, but at least they're happy.
I think
Like
it depends. It depends. I can think of several examples when it's done right, it can work, because when you feel like the characters learn something.
Oh yeah, look, okay, I know one of the ones you're referring to is like a walk, what's it called? A walk in the clouds? No, a walk. What is it called?
A Walk to Remember.
A Walk to Remember.
I was not thinking about this one. I was thinking about the series actually, and I was thinking
okay.
about Titanic as well, of
Yeah.
course. But I think it is possible. But if it breaks you, but also you feel hopeful, you know, at the end, that it's not the end.
Yeah, I do.
But
I feel
most times it ends in a depressing way, and it's not
it's
good.
just
Yeah, you don't
depressing.
want to be
Yeah.
left with that
So
feeling.
I
Yeah.
feel like when you watch something like Titanic, you know, you're prepared. You know what I mean? You're prepared. But I still kind of like want to smack Rose, because there was plenty of room on that, like whatever she was floating on for Jack. Like what the hell? But yeah, so I just I feel like you're prepared with that. Like
I
everybody
cannot believe you're in the team. There was a plenty of room on that. Zoe, we're people who talk about the story of motives of characters. Like that was not the fucking point. How much space was on that thing? Come on.
The point was she could have saved him. No.
Come on.
But yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like no one watches Titanic and think it's gonna like end happy. Like it already happened. We know the ending. Like, you know, if you watch that, you're investing in being kind of a bit upset. And I feel like it's the same premise of like, you don't watch a horror movie and then get angry because you get scared. Like it's like you've watched it, you know, you knew you were going to be frightened. Well, you expected to be frightened anyway. Sometimes you're pleasantly surprised and you just laugh all the way through it because it's so ridiculous you can't actually get afraid. But like generally, if you watch a horror movie, you're expecting, you're signing up to get scared, right? So like I feel like if you know beforehand, it makes sense. Like I remember when I first watched A Walk to Remember, I knew it would end sad. I didn't actually know the actual storyline, but I knew it was based on a Nicholas Sparks book, and I figured I would cry at least once or twice while watching it because, you know, if you've ever read one of his books, they're basically all that way. And so, but I did not expect to cry the way I did. And I definitely had the experience that you're talking about, where you're bawling and you're devastated, but you're like, but he's so different. She made him a better person. And like, but like, and her dad and him have a relation. Like, there was like all these like good things, even though there were bad things.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you're right. It sometimes it does work. Sometimes it's warranted, but it's such a rare thing.
It's
Usually,
delicate. Yeah, it has to be done well,
yeah, usually it's
because
just fucked
otherwise it's
up.
just traumatic.
Yeah,
If the beginning part of the story is done well and suddenly you're so invested, and then they do this thing in the end that does not feel like it's really paying off, like it does
Yeah.
not feel like a good resolution, you just left traumatic.
Yeah, that's right.
Traumatized.
You're traumatized, and you're just like, I want, those 12 hours of my life back. I'm never getting them back again. I could have been doing stuff with those 12 hours. I don't know what, probably nothing exciting, but like I could have been doing other shit. And and if you talk about us with the podcast, it takes a lot more than, like, if it's a 12-hour episode show, we're spending a lot more time than that on it. So
So
when it
much more
goes
time.
down, when it crashes in a fiery death, it's way more traumatic for us. If you wanna watch a car, oh no, sorry, if you want to listen to a car wreck in motion, you should listen to our episode 12 podcast for Last Twilight. Apparently, you can hear the despair in our voice.
Sometimes I get so upset about that episode. I'm tempted to delete it altogether.
What, from the
And like,
podcast?
yeah, just to make it not exist, because it's so painful. Like, it affected me in a bad way, the way it
Yeah.
ended.
I feel like, though,
Yeah.
that is a thing, though, that you just have to do. Like, I've always been, very kind of funny about stuff like that, where I feel like all things we put out there are for a reason. Like, there's a purpose. It might not be, like, clear to us at the time. We may not like it, like, it's like writing fan fiction or something. Like, I got a kudos on something I wrote, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, and I'm like, why are you still reading this? Like, what are people doing? Don't you have anything else better to do? It was really nice, but I was just like, oh, and sometimes I'll go and I'll just have a look at it and I'll be like, it's not as bad as I thought it was. But sometimes I'm horrified because I'm like, oh, it's terrible. But I made a deal with myself that I would never take anything down, because the most annoying thing as a reader, if you find something you like and you like to go back and read it again or whatever, is to go back and it's gone because the creator or whatever has gone, oh no, I hate this, and has, like, either deleted the YouTube video or deleted the fan fiction or, like, whatever. So I wouldn't let you. You would delete it and I would just put it right back up again. I've still got it. Because I feel like,
Oh,
you know what?
that's kind of scary to hear, actually. I didn't like that.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like, I
Feels
feel
like
like
very uncomfortable.
would you say that made you uncomfortable? No, but,
It
like,
feels slightly
obviously.
uncomfortable, yeah.
But I just feel like it's kind of like, it's there. Do you know what I mean? Like, we hate it, or we felt a certain way with it or whatever, but someone else might listen to it and, like, it might help them, or it might, like, whatever. Like, I feel like there's a purpose to it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
It is what it is.
But if nothing else, as I said, it might amuse you if you like to watch train wrecks, or like to listen to them, rather. But yeah, it's one of those things, when you invest a lot of time in something, like, when it doesn't pay off, it's way more tragic, it's way more devastating. So
Is it funny that we talked about tragic endings and then we talked about Last Twilight and how it upset us, but it's actually considered as a happy ending, a very happy ending.
yeah, but that's part of what's wrong.
Sometimes
That's
the
part of
happy
what's wrong
ending
with
is the
it.
problem.
Part 4 is like the Stepford Wives. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, anyway, let's not get into it.
Anyway.
Everybody's here for vice versa. So unless vice versa ends tragically, or, like, in such a really stupid way, and I can't imagine it because you're so in love with it, and I feel like, yeah,
You
I
trust
can't
me.
imagine. Yeah, I trust you. Yeah. And so, as I said, as long as I get that feeling where, like, at the end, I'm like, "Aw," like, I'll definitely watch it again. Like, I rewatched something from, I don't know, years ago, BL, what was it called? I can't remember. But it was one of those ones that, like, I cringed even thinking about watching because, like, there's so many bad tropes and there's so much, like, wrong with it. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like, inappropriate touching when people are asleep and there's, like, all this stuff. But it was, like, I was feeling nostalgic. And then after I watched it, I was like, wow, it's really bad. But I was kind of, like, happy still. It's like those guilty pleasures, you know? And I was just like, that's good. I'll watch it again in another 10 years or something like that. But yeah, so I will eventually, it'll make its way onto my, what do you call it? Playlist. Or I'll just be like, I'll randomly just start watching scenes from it one day and then I'll be like, oh, I'll just might as well watch it from the beginning or, you know.
This is so hard for me because I want to rewatch it, but I'm trying not to because, I want to forget as much stuff as possible to be able to talk about it.
Like fresh as we're going.
Exactly. But I
Yeah.
want to rewatch it. I feel like if I watch it again, like every time I watch it, I've discovered something new.
Yeah. I think
And
that's a lot with different things. You get that. It's like sometimes with books as well. You get that. You think you wouldn't miss it, but the way our brains work, we often skip sections because our brain makes up what we think logically like it should be or whatever. Because I've
Mhm.
read a couple of books where I'm like, I have no knowledge of this. Like, how did I miss this?
Mhm. It's actually a trait of a good story. When,
Yeah,
like, just as with Not Me, when you're able to rewatch it and discover something new for yourself again and again and again, it
I
means it's
think as
good.
yeah, I think as well like that. Whether or not it's intentional because it's good writing or whether it's just like it's happenstance, it just happened by accident, where like when you've got the insight of watching the full story, when you go to watch it again, you're like, oh, this is why they did this. Like some people, like some writers and creators are so clever that they do that on purpose that when you like if you're paying attention, you may have noticed it on the first watch, but probably most people wouldn't. You either you get the aha moment when it happens or when you rewatch it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, oh, suddenly this makes so much more sense. Like, oh, they put this little like weird creature in here because like later on, this happens or like
Let's
like
bring
it's fun.
let's bring up a real example. When we talked about the last Let's Talk Dangerous Romance, and you mentioned the scene from episode one, was it? When they gather in that room, and the way everything is placed there looks like it's a king and a
Yeah,
peasant
like a castle.
peasant
Yeah,
and like yeah exactly, that was so cool.
yeah.
And it's
Well, it
something
was
that
real.
you
Yeah,
necessarily notice on first to
no,
you.
I never noticed it. And it made a lot of sense as well because it was almost like they were using that space as like a metaphor to show like how he saw everyone else and like his domain and then later on like when him and when Kang and Salom are starting to butt heads and like he's realizing that he can't tear down Salom, but Salom is like tearing down his defenses. We start to see the box, like we get another scene. I think it's where he goes back and hits him after
Yeah,
like the he loses the job, like he loses his teaching job or like what's it called, tutoring job, and
yeah,
you get the same sort of aerial shot, and the boxes have started to like they're not. It's not like it's not built up like it was. It's like his kingdom
yeah.
is crumbling. Like
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
the forethought and the vision that the creative design and that had for that is so clever, so clever.
Yeah.
And as I said, if you're not paying attention, you miss it.
And it's just like this in this one. That's a foreshadowing so fucking much, Zoe. There was a line in this episode, and I did not mention it, but at some point, when Poon asks, I'm not gonna say it now because I'm going to spoil it, and you're probably not going to go back and rewatch it. But Poon asks Tale, when are you going to consider having a
Being in
person like
love.
being in love? Yeah, and Tale answers him, and it's a major foreshadowing. We basically we basically get the response to so much.
Well, now I
what's
have
going to
to go
happen.
back and watch it, don't I? Because
Oh,
like I did not pay
don't.
attention.
You need to, no, just, I don't know, do or maybe don't. Like, it may be a good thing, or I don't know, if you want to, like, watching and then going back to rewatch, and you find out so many things that were already, foreshadowed. And then you watch several episodes and you go back and you discover so many things that suddenly make sense and they feel so much more interesting and meaningful. Yeah, and that was one of those things.
Well, maybe I'll wait, and when the answer is revealed in the show, give me a nudge me in case I miss it, because let's face it, I might, and then I'll go back and watch it and experience the brilliance that you're describing.
I hope I remember to do that. I'll try.
I'll just be like, has that thing happened? And you'll be like, and I
It's
won't
just so
actually,
much.
I won't even remember what I'm thinking, what I'm asking about, and you'll be like, what thing? And I'll be like, I don't know, the thing, the foreshadowing
But there's
thing,
so
and
much. It's just,
you'll be like, which one?
yeah, too much stuff to remember. Too many things like this. There are too many. Like, it's impossible to notice them in, like, even if you watch it like 10 times. I feel like there's always something that you discover, and it's always fun.
Yeah. Well, you know what you were saying before about how you wanted to watch ahead because you want to do a rewatch and you're really enjoying it. I'm like having that experience for Not Me as well. The way I have restrained myself, I did not know I was this strong. I'm quite impressed. I thought I was way weaker. I'm all about the instant gratification. So I'm like, it's really hard. It's not helping that I keep seeing like scenes from Not Me everywhere as well. You don't often see like scenes from vice versa, or at least I haven't been seeing them.
Yeah. No. It was, plus you're not following the people. Like, if you're
True.
in the area where people talk about vice, you do see things connected to vice versa. But it's the same for me with Not Me, but with vice versa, it's a bit more different, because it's kind of like exciting from the point of view that I get to experience it through your eyes as well, in a new way, and talk to you. And it's also like a bit thrilling, because I feel responsible for this podcast. Is, even though it was your idea, I feel like responsible because I'm the cause of it. And
so if it all falls apart, it's your fault.
It is my fault.
And if it's successful, it's your fault.
Yeah, like, it's a very interesting experience.
Yeah, well, I know
this podcast for me.
I know that you're loving it when whenever I say something or respond to something in a way that you hoped I would. And I can always tell when I've disappointed you. It's totally in your voice. And I'm just like, oh, well, we'll get there eventually. But
this is what happens in my head as well. Oh, she'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Give her no chance.
It's so funny because like about you saying like how it's interesting. I have that respect. I have that feeling too. Sometimes I'll watch something and I'll tell Morella about it, and she'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it." And then there's nothing more fun to me than her leaving me messages where she like has a mental breakdown about stuff as it's occurring, or she gets really excited because it's really cute or whatever. Your messages when you were watching Hidden Love was a perfect example of that. I enjoyed them so much. Sorry. And I enjoyed your messages. Yeah, I enjoyed your messages when you watched I Will Knock You as well. Both of those were lots of fun for me. Because I was like, oh, yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But I think as well as it's interesting too when you share something with like someone, that you care about and they like it the way you do. You kind of feel understood.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, it's fun too because maybe that person will see something or love something or, as you said, have a different opinion or something that you didn't see yourself, and you're like, oh,
yeah, new
okay,
perspective.
yeah, this is interesting. Yeah. So I feel like we've definitely had that a couple of times with the Not Me podcast so far as well. So that's been cool.
Yeah, there's so much more to look forward to in this one and in the podcast as well. If you're watching, if you're only listening to the Vice Versa podcast, give Not Me a try as well, because it's really good. And we should probably mention vice versa in the Not Me podcast as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like there are more people who listen to the Not Me podcast and do not try the vice versa one. That's vice versa.
Yeah.
That's the other way around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we should, because it's definitely been fun, that's for sure. And it's funny that you said there's like more fun to come. It's like, because we're only on episode 4, and there's still like 8 more episodes, and it's like, wow, a lot can happen in 8 episodes. That's why I was surprised about the kiss. Like, I was really like, a kiss in episode 4, really? And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining or anything, but it kind of scared me a little bit as well. And I can't explain why. But do you know what I mean by that?
I do know what you mean by that.
Yeah, I knew you would. You get me. So, but anyway, I think that's probably it for now. We have a Ko-Fi account. If anyone's interested, we'll put the link down in the post.
What is even more fun? Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say that it's even more fun if you talk to us, but at the same time, whatever. I don't know.
I'm sorry, you're just like, I want to say something funny, but whatever.
Anyway, so thank you for hanging out with us. Tell your friends about our podcast, and goodbye for now.
Bye.